think, it's good to get back on the court after Friday night. And, I think the thing that I like is we're having high assist numbers, which means we're sharing the ball and making some good decisions. And so I look down and there's 24 assists. I like that tonight. And I think we had 19 or 18 Friday night, so I like that. I was glad we got to get some extended minutes for some guys that haven't been able to get them. Like I think Keyshawn Tillery is so important to our team this year as we move forward, and him getting out there and getting extended minutes and being able to play through some mistakes. I think that's really important because we're going to need him to be confident and ready to compete and ready to play. And I thought there were some really good moments for him tonight that he should gain some confidence from. Same thing, Halveen, getting the extended minutes and I think doing a nice job with them. He did some good things on the backboards. So I think, again, those are some of the positives. I thought Jordy Rodriguez as well. I thought he had a great loose ball that was a Bearcat type of play. And you see that some of these guys that have been here, they're starting to try to get it. We had the second to last media timeout, the under 8 media in the second half. I really challenged them to just play Bearcat basketball, to play the right way, no matter what's going on and who the opponent is or what the score is. And I thought that group came out for the next couple minutes and did that. And I think we're still learning what that means, but there were some moments tonight you could see that happening, and that's the good stuff. So what kind of questions do you guys have?
Saturday after football, we caught that Sean was the latest guy taking shots. Obviously that pays off, and seemingly you would not be surprised based on the fact that you said Sean Vibe's going to be all right several times the other night.
Yeah, what's the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, a roundabout way. Well, just are you glad to see him do what he does, even though you see this quite a bit?
Yeah, I was glad the ball went in for him. He's had a couple games where he just hadn't shot it well, and so you could see him find his rhythm tonight. I think us trying to find the right shot quality for him is really important. We can't take away who he is and what makes him special, and he can go make a tough shot, and that's going to be needed in the big games. Sometimes you just got to go make a tough one, and we have a guy and some others that can do that. That's very important, but when to do that and when to kind of let the game come to you and make the right decisions, I think he's going to excel at that this year. And I think we're going through that process of learning how to be a distributor, a playmaker, or he's got to rebound the ball. He's got to continue to improve defensively, and then he's going to have to be a shot maker at times. And I think some of his shot quality, it will continue to improve, which will help his shooting numbers as well.
No Baba Miller tonight. Was that just him kept out as a precaution from the hip injury, or is it something that could linger into, after the holidays?
He couldn't check back in the game against Louisville the other night, and that you don't not check back into a game like that if you're not injured. So he certainly got an injury. He hasn't practiced. He was not able to do anything leading up to this game or today. I don't think it's a long-term thing, but it's a day-to-day thing for sure. So I don't have an update on where he is. I knew on Saturday morning that after they examined him, he would not be able to play in this game, most likely. You always hope he wakes up one day and goes, "Coach, I'm good," but we're not quite there yet. So I think Wednesday is up in the air. Again, it's all about his healing process. But I think Wednesday's totally up in the air, and I'd hope that we can have him back sooner rather than later.
You mentioned playing with toughness. The first 2-3 segments, was that maybe an issue? It was a little too free-flowing, a little too open, that there wasn't some of that diving on the floor, and how can you use the last 8 minutes to teach out some of that stuff early in the game?
Well, I thought, they came in and they played like a zone on every made basket and dead ball, and then they were trying to switch into man after a certain, I don't know their rules, but it appeared to me that after 4 or 5 passes, They were trying to go from zone to man, and I think they were just trying to do something to throw us off. Early, the first possession of the game, we just ran our man play against it. After we won the tip, and we got a wide open shot. But I think when people do play jump defense, sometimes you find yourself with the ball open in ways you aren't normally used to being open, right? Like you catch it and there's nobody within 6-7 feet of you. And there's a design, it's more of a mental effect to make you play a way you don't practice. And I thought early in the game there were some moments where the jump defense, I wouldn't say it bothered us to make us turn it over. It just was awkward. And we had a couple awkward possessions and made a couple bad decisions. But the main thing about jump defense for me is you can't lose sight of who you are. And we had any rim pressure. Like there's no pressure at the rim, off the drive, off the pass, on the offensive board. But you also want to maintain your aggressiveness. Thought we did a good job of staying aggressive, but we didn't have rim pressure. And we came out of a timeout and talked about a play we were going to run against it, and we finally got Mua back to the basket catch in the middle of the first half, and it was like, there it is. Like if we, kind of stick with it a little bit without losing our aggressiveness, good things will happen. And I thought that was kind of more of the reasons for it. But certainly, Bearcat basketball is going to be about diving on the floor. It's going to be about getting a big rebound. It's going to be about getting in a stance with 5 guys and getting a stop. And the more we get consistent with that, the better off we're going to be in every way. Again, there were moments tonight that I go, hey, there's what it is. That's great. And then there were moments tonight that, we got to learn from. And that's what we're going through early in the year, which is fine, but it's just got to keep getting better.
Speaking of consistency, do you feel like Mustafa's been your guys' most consistent player on either end of the floor halfway through the non-con?
Yeah, I think ranking players' consistency, I wouldn't do that anyway, even if I did do it upstairs, right? I don't do that, but if I did do that, I certainly wouldn't share it with you guys, right? But I think what I would say is Mustafa just keeps getting better. He cares a lot. I think, he was supposed to be a high school senior playing last year at Central Florida, and I thought Johnny was really, really smart. They kept it very simple for him. He played in the dunker most possessions, and then he'd release to the top of the key sometimes, and he'd shoot it or go dribble handoff, and they didn't do a whole lot more with him. And I say that out of respect because I think they knew he was a young player. They needed him to play, so they kept it very simple. Same thing defensively, kind of played in a big drop most of the time, and every once in a while in a 2-3 zone. We've asked him to do quite a bit more. We've had the whole off season. He had a year of college basketball, so we've thrown a lot at him, and I think he's handled it masterfully well. He keeps getting better every week, and I think he's starting to play with more physical force. I think everybody that's coming to games, we're seeing it in practice, but I think you're seeing him play with more physicality and force around the basket, and that's been good to see.
Coach, you mentioned the confidence for Keyshawn tonight. Obviously, he finishes with 9 points, but a big kind of coaching confident moment when he gets the turnover there and then gets the technical. In that moment, as a coach, what do you say to a younger guy in that moment to kind of relieve that confidence that he might have after a stop like that, but to stay level-headed in that moment?
I think, those are. I'm not frustrated with I love Keyshawn Tiller. He's going to be a terrific player at Cincinnati. He's going to be a good player for Cincinnati in the Big 12 this year. But that transition from high school to college is very significant, especially at this level. And the transition at that position is very significant. That's the hardest position to transition. And so I think early here in the year, if there's opportunities for him to continue to build his confidence, but also learn from mistakes that you kind of can't repeat. I think there's value in that, and that's an example of a moment where, he made talk about Bearcat basketball, what a great play he made to get the turnover and defending the ball, the energy, the edge. That's what we all love and want. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if we don't maintain our discipline. And so I've always said, give me guys that, you know, I don't have to rev them up, I gotta reel them in, you know, and from a competitive standpoint, Keyshawn's not a guy you gotta rev up. I mean, he's a Bearcat, but he's gotta continue to learn the level of competitiveness with a level of discipline, and he's doing a nice job of improving in those areas, and that was a moment that hopefully he can learn from tonight, because in a Big 12 game, you don't wanna make a play that great, right? And then all of a sudden, the other team's shooting 2 free throws, right? So he can learn from it.
Last couple for Coach.
How do you get Jalen going, and what have you seen from him in practice that makes you confident he can get going?
Oh, I mean, it's not just practice. I mean, he's done it at this level, in this league. So I have no concern about that. I thought he looked a little stiff out there tonight, so I didn't play him. I mean, I thought he just wasn't moving well. And so I told him I tried to give him that run to start the second half again, and he just didn't look good physically to me. So I pulled him out and told him I just didn't think he looked good. He agreed, and we'll get back to it. But he's a really important player to this team, guys. So he's coming off of an injury. We got to have some patience, but he's doing a nice job in practice, and he'll like, it's kind of like what I said about Sean Friday night. I mean, Jalen Celestine's going to be fine, but we got to get him back up to speed. And again, I thought tonight was a great chance to do that, but he had some stiffness tonight, so we couldn't really give him the kind of minutes that I wanted him to have.
You hear the term glue guy used a lot in college basketball. What's your definition of glue guy, and how well does that label fit Tyler McKinley through the first 6 games of the season?
You guys are doing a great job of setting these questions up. I don't use the term glue guy, Keegan, so I don't have a definition of it. But I think what you're trying to say, and I appreciate the question, but that Tyler McKinley's a guy that does stuff that impacts winning. That's what I see, is that, boy, he just does stuff that impacts winning. He does the little stuff that separates, you know, how you win or lose a possession. That's pretty cool for a young player, because he gets it. I mean, these guys in there for that big offense, I think Moon missed a dunk, and, you know, that's like, oh, you know, come on, man, we got to finish that stuff around the rim, and the ball's almost at its high point, and you see Tyler McKinley tracking it from 5 feet away, and he still gets it at the high point before anybody else. Like, he gets winning stuff, his defensive energy, his physicality, his rebounding, and his offensive game's pretty good, and that's going to keep coming. And I thought he had a chance to make some moves inside the interior tonight. You could see that coming. But I don't know. I don't use the term glue guy, but I use the term winning player, and he's a winning player.
Last one, Chad.
To further on Tyler, he had a spot in the middle of the zone, caught the pass in the middle of the zone, took the one dribble and hit the 10-footer. Is that an example of him maybe becoming a little bit more confident offensively, not trying to be the effort guy, be the energy guy, but also showing some of that offensive skill that he has?
Yeah, he's 6 games in to his college career. Like, there's a lot there that people hadn't seen yet, but yeah, he'll continue to really evolve. I think his passing is maybe I thought this when I recruited him when he was at Walnut Hills. Shoot, he had a play in Fifth Third actually in the state tournament. His brother and mom will be upset with me that I brought this up publicly, but I think they were down 1 side out with like 5 or 6 seconds left in the game, and they gave him the ball, and he hit a kid on a perfect bounce pass for a layup, and the kid just smoked the layup. And this, you guys know how big the Ohio State tournament is, and it was here in Fifth Third, and it was like, I remember saying that he just has such a feel for where the ball should go, when it should go there, and how he should pass. And, you know, his brother and his mom were mad because they wanted him to shoot the shot. I said, no, it's always make the right play. And he made the right play, and the kid just, his buddy smoked the layup. And I'm sorry to whoever smoked that layup. I shouldn't have brought that up. But he does. The best thing he does, and since he was a youngster, is he really passes the ball. He's a guy that we're going to be able to play through on offense, and we haven't even explored that to the level that we're going to moving forward this year.
Thanks, Coach.